Welcome again to Coffee and Whiskey with Ivy. Today is not just about Trump and Kim, but also about Lim, my darling squirrel husband, who gained weight to 70.1 kilos, a target which we have been trying to achieve in the past 4 months because he lost 15 kilos whilst he was in hospital. Of course, the most important thing that happened in the week, the Trump and Kim summit, and I can understand why they chose Singapore. I am very happy they chose my beautiful island in the sun, Singapore, to hold the summit here. Just imagine all the money and the energy that can be saved and put into better use than shooting at each other. This headlines worries me. Almost all government services to go digital by 2023. You know, they are thinking of buying and selling homes and cars with a few clicks of keys. So we don't really need lawyers for conveyancing. We don't need conveyancing clerks. So what are we going to do with all these people? What about all those people who will be laid off from jobs which do not require humans anymore? So why haven't they gone smart earlier? You know, digital revolution and all is very, very good. But I remember when I was in England 40 years ago, this professor mentioned to us that England could have gone digital and smart 50 years before that. But they didn't because it would have caused 20% unemployment. So we must be very careful how we move, because otherwise, if you remove the 60,000 Grab drivers from the scene, you know what will happen? We will have massive unemployment. We must seriously look at this gentleman and what he says about artificial intelligence and how dangerous it can become. He said AI can be used to breed a new type of autonomous weapons. And this is so sad to read because as we are trying to get out of war and fighting, AI can make it worse. Constance Singham is my friend and she wrote an excellent article on the struggle for dignity in old age. So how did Jalan Kukoh happen in this day and age in Singapore, which is one of the richest countries in the world? It is pathetic that we are not addressing our energy into solving this problem. She asked, how can our society ensure dignity and peace of mind in old age? How can we, a materially rich country, eliminate poverty? We must cut out the assumption that the poor have a negative mindset and are lazy and lack ambition. She says the need to talk seriously about a pension scheme and a minimum wage is urgent. I don't think we need to talk anymore. I think we need action. And I think Constance Singham, you must really tell our leaders and our civil servants how this can be done. I get up at 5 a.m. every morning and look forward to the day. And I want all senior citizens and pioneers like me to look forward to the sun and the day. At last, some nice news. IT graduate saves cardiac arrest victim at interchange. Mabel Long, I salute you. She's only 18 years old. She works part-time as a lifeguard and she did life saving and she managed to save this person's life. Can you imagine how wonderful if all our 18-year-olds in Singapore had the kind of training that she had the kind of guts that she have, and have the kind of compassion that she has to jump in and save somebody's life. Teachers Mabel Ong. Owner told to clear zoological garden from pavement. You know, why must we always have either this or that? Why can't we accommodate this fella who's making all his friends happy instead of listening to a few of his grumbling neighbors? If what they have there on the pavement is not causing a blockage for fire engines or ambulances, let these people have their space. They are retirees, they are happy, they meet there, they have a chat, they enjoy themselves, they look after the 30 parrots. Stop pushing people off the pavement for no reason. Many local experts have told the NEA that fogging is not only ineffective, it is dangerous because we are all breathing bad air. Fogging also kills dragonflies, butterflies, and frogs, etc., which actually help to keep the environment balanced. But of course now, this Professor Gubler, he must be an Angmo, you know. And I'm sure the people in NEA will listen because they only listen to Angmos and not our own people. So stop fogging, find out what is best for the ecosystem. HDB residents say no to bigger dogs in flats. I agree. Not because of my neighbors, but because it is bad for dogs to be locked up in a small space. You know, there are 7,000 stray dogs in Singapore. Only 7,000, not many. We have 66,200 landed properties. So if only a small number of people, like 7,000 people, each took one dog each, there will be no more problem. We can save so much money from all these do-gooders, like racing around trying to do good. We can save so much land from being wasted on shelters, etc., right? And we will have no more dog problem. But we should cut out the breeders, we should cut out the breeding farms, and we should cane and jail people when they discard animals on the street. I don't really care if the North and South Koreans blow themselves to pieces or if they kiss themselves to death. And I don't really care if President Donald Trump lands on the moon in his Air Force One. And I don't really care if Vivian Balakrishna is a good tea lady or not. But I'm very concerned about this lovely Singaporean 63-year-old lady who is trying to get a PDVL license to be able to support herself and to be independent in her old age. She's tried to do it 9 times and failed. And actually, the reason is because the test for private hire drivers is so onerous that many of them have tried for many times. There's a guy who tried it for 15 times. There's somebody else who tried it for an endless number of times. And apparently, in March of this year, a good GRC member of parliament called Cheng Li Hui had proposed in parliament that it should be held in different languages. Then, Second Minister for Transport, Mr. Ng Chee Meng, added that drivers must be able to read and speak simple English and communicate with Singaporeans and tourists. I think my greatest concern is help us Singaporeans first. Teachers, don't be disheartened. You know, in our generation, our teachers used to cane us. Our teachers used to make us stand outside the classroom. We dare not allow our parents to speak to our teachers because we will get another slap from our parents. And I think our generation has turned out to be excellent people, right? So all we need to do now is to introduce caning back in schools, but not for the kids, but for the parents who do not know how to do the right thing. Teachers, do not lose heart. poor children, needy children, disadvantaged children, etc., etc. You know, unless you're born deaf and dumb or autistic or with a hole in the heart or bipolar, in other words, have a real health and physical defect, any child in Singapore should have the God-given chance of doing well in our good country. Ensure that the parents have a good job. Ensure that the parents are paid well enough to be able to provide their children with the proper education, the proper skills support, so that they don't have to be labeled poor, needy, disadvantaged all the time in our newspapers. This is such a cute article. No evidence that having sex with robots is healthy. Anyway, I don't use my robot to keep healthy. I just use my robot to make me happy. Thank you for watching Coffee and Whiskey with Ivy. Do remember to subscribe so you can reach me easily. Cheers.